What's up, Degenerate Nation? Welcome to the Big Bets on Campus podcast. This is the Week 13 college football betting recap and conference championship look ahead. I'm Stucky. With me, as always, is Colin Wilson. What a weekend, huh?
Not even burned at all. That, took on the BBOC live show that we do on Saturday mornings, that 4.5 number. You and I questioned on the podcast last week, like, what's the ceiling for Oklahoma State football? Can't figure it out. I think they're going to be able to beat Oklahoma here. Massive comeback after getting down by, they could have just given up. And you even see alumni like Brett McMurphy say, I've seen this story so many times. I think it's refreshing for Oklahoma State fans. And for the Sources podcast, all we chirped about for a month before, Thanksgiving weekend was Michigan at 80-1 is a real number. Oklahoma State at 80-1 is a real number. I believe, I'll have to check my math, it's either 10 or 11. I think only 10 programs in college football have ever made the college football playoff. It's very much an exclusive club. And now we're looking at possibly 3 teams that have never made it. Cincinnati, Michigan, Oklahoma State could all make the playoff, play their way in. So it is a wild Saturday, and we're not even close to finished.
Yeah, I think that if those teams win out, so if chalk holds next weekend, Georgia beats Alabama, Michigan beats Iowa. God, Wisconsin couldn't get there for division futures. Come on. And so Iowa's in. We have to watch Iowa. By the way, Iowa only can score on special teams and off turnovers. Michigan doesn't turn over and has good special teams, so not sure how they score there. And then Cincinnati beats Houston, and Oklahoma State beats Baylor. I think those are your 4, right?
Yeah, it has to be. I think the question is a 2-loss Alabama, it depends on how bad they lose. Are they going to be the ones to hop Cincinnati? If Oklahoma State gets pushed out, does Notre Dame listen, it's like, I don't know how you feel about this. I haven't included Notre Dame in anything I've written up this year. Like, I have not said the college football playoff, here are the contenders that can get in, because they're essentially, I don't know how to find another word, but they're blocked, right? They're blocked because of the loss to Cincinnati. But are they going to slip in as a?
They don't have a conference championship.
They don't have a conference championship. That's what people realize.
But it could help if everyone else just falls apart that weekend.
Your strength of schedule didn't. There was no favors with Stanford. They don't have the resume. I believe. I can't believe I remember who said it, but Cincinnati and Notre Dame would have the 2 worst resumes in the history of college football playoff teams, worse than Michigan State the inaugural year. So I can't see Michigan State getting it, or Notre Dame. Does Notre Dame get in, or would it?
I think if you're a Notre Dame fan, you need Oklahoma State to lose to Baylor, like the most realistic way. You need Oklahoma State to lose to Baylor, and then you need Alabama to get blown out, and then I think you might jump. But Alabama should have 3 losses. They should have lost to Florida. They should have lost at Auburn. How do you not go for 2 if you're Auburn? Are you kidding me? How do you not go for 2?
This comes from coach and Mike Bobo that always go for 2 and go for 4 downs. What were they? Why did they do it? Same thing with Penn State. Bad coaching decisions happening up at Penn State. When Auburn took on Penn State, I can't figure out this Auburn program. Like, Harsin. Listen, I know the game didn't go over. They played out of their mind on defense, but I don't think things are going to work out that program there very fast for him.
Yeah, that James Franklin, by the way, had an awful day, and that swung my day, losing Penn State. I guess I should have known. This has happened all year in the NFL. Once I had Penn State -2, that once it closed at 6, and there was flu for Michigan State, I should have known that we were cooked there. But
as field goals and 6s, you knew that was in the forecast. Once you get that kind of closing line value, something like that's going to happen.
Yeah, I knew I was done once that line moved on me. But I should have went with the Snover. It was a classic Snover.
Yeah.
But how about – I don't want to bring this game up to you because one of the worst beats of the weekend is UNC-NC State. What a wild game.
Yeah, you're getting closer to me in the BBOC live show standings, and that one just ripped my heart out. It wasn't bad enough that Arkansas, right before that NC State UNC game, Arkansas couldn't score in the first half, and then they come out and they blitz Missouri for 1 billion points. So, and I took first half, right? And then at some point, I think there's 2 minutes left in the game, and that score was 27-21, and an under 63 doesn't cover. I mean, there are some pretty bad fourth quarter performances this weekend. There were some teams that scored over 21 or more points in the fourth quarter yesterday. And I think that's just I think teams just got tired. I think there are teams that are just beat up, tired, and their defenses are starting to show it. Gambling gods give you games like that. But then again, San Diego State going under, that I don't deserve that win at all.
23 minutes, the last 23 minutes, nobody scored. Welcome to the San Diego State under party. They just find ways to hit. All right, let's do, before we get to voicemails, and then we'll just talk real quick about next weekend. We'll preview the entire weekend later this week. It's conference championship weekend, a lot fewer games, so we can go more in depth there. But let's do best call, worst call, bet, regret. Worst call. I haven't listened to the voicemails yet. I'm assuming I'm going to hear about Duke. I should hear about Duke. I deserve to hear about Duke. I deserve to get roasted. That was my worst call by far. My best call. Oh, my best call by far. I wrote this game up on actionnetwork.com and Action Network app. Kent State overs, baby. 48-47 in overtime. And we get Kent State futures alive and well. And we have to conquer the final boss, Northern Illinois and Rocky Lombardi, next week. But I was happy to see that we got that home in addition to Western Kentucky. Zappy Hour headed to the conference championship to take on Meet. That was another good call I had, is UTSA. I had North Texas plus 10.5. They won by 22. Let's see. I had some other bad calls in here. South Carolina. I mean, like, show up, tackle. You're playing a team that can't throw the ball. I mean, that was infuriating. What did DJ finish for Clemson? 9 of 19 for 99 yards. No touchdowns at a pick. Clemson can't throw the ball, and you let them run down your throat. And obviously the Clemson defense dominated. And how about Colorado State? That was a good one. Losing 52-10. Nevada apparently did care there. And then bet regret, I'll say, I got to go Snover. I saw the snow, and I should have went Snover. Live Snover, second half Snover. By the way, I don't know where you're going to go best call worst, but you might go Michigan, but what a game that was. That was just such a fun game to watch, and congrats to Bodog Jim and all the Michigan fans out there. Where are you going with best call, worst call, bet, regret?
Worst call is going to be the over on Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl, a game that I thought in the first half, because Brian Harson's been so good at scripting games in the first quarter and scoring a lot of points, and then he doesn't score anything for the rest of the game. That game was 10-0 going into the fourth quarter. And, Alabama is super struggling offensive line wise. It was just a bad call on the over there. And I think the handicap that you and I put out on the podcast last week was, I'm sure Alabama is going to do what South Carolina does and not target Roger McCreary. Yet every single pass from Bryce Young was at Roger McCreary. What are you doing, Alabama? So I'll say bad, worst call for me was taking the over on that Alabama game. I don't understand Alabama's game plan, and that offensive line continues to let me down. Even against Arkansas, they were getting destroyed. Georgia, I understand. I see what the spread is. You and I are going to talk about it later in this week. I don't know how you put a penny down on Alabama. I really don't. That offensive line is bad. From a best call perspective, really, it's a tie. I never wavered on Michigan. I loved Michigan the entire time. I thought Mike McDonald from your Ravens was a game changer. I think I think what he's done with that defense is not being talked about enough. It certainly is being talked about now, Southern Miss is a team that I could consider a best call, but really that's because FIU is a corpse. The best call of the weekend by far was hitting the North Texas opener at 12. It closes at 8, and then they destroy UTSA 45. North Texas has been a cash cow. Luttrell not only just saved his job at North Texas, there's going to be so many job openings right now. He's going to be able to go anywhere he wants. This guy was going to be unemployed at 1-6. Great job by Seth Luttrell there. And now they're going bowling, and he may get another job offer. For bet regret, I'd probably say Clemson. I know I said on the podcast that Clemson was going to dominate South Carolina, and South Carolina's been smoking mirrors all season. And there's this weird thing going on with the ACC with how you get your bowl placement. And it's all about style points. It's kind of like back to, Bobby Bowden in the 70s and 80s, like always scoring 80 points so that he could get higher in the AP vote. Well, in the ACC, it's all about style points, about which bowl is going to take you. And I think that's what was on Clemson's mind. Other than Dabo wanting to beat up, Beamer's son. So I think my bet regret is going to be Clemson because they finally found a way to get points up on the board and the defense pitched a shutout.
All right, good stuff there. Let's take our weekly lashings and get yelled at here. Let's go to your voicemails.
Bad beats, backdoors, and miracle covers. However you're feeling, we want to hear from you.
Voicemail box of the Big Bets on Campus podcast.
There he goes. Leave a message after the bleep.
Colin Stuckey, I got one big question for you. When the did the Big 10 become the Big 12, man? Overs galore. Michigan State, Penn State over. Purdue, Indiana over. Maryland, Rutgers over. Northwestern, Illinois, a over. And I'm sitting here now looking at the box score, Minnesota, Wisconsin at 33 points. That is going to go over. I mean, what the man? This sucks. Which it will.
Oh, by the way, I hate Maryland. Of course they covered when I got off the train.
And of course I hedged. I would like to thank Maryland. My very first win total over 5.5 forced me to go to the last game against Rutgers and cut that goddamn ticket into half by forcing me to take Rutgers in that game, and then they blew Rutgers out. So thank you for the huge payday that was cut in half. Maryland Terrapins football. I'm glad you got to bowl season.
And I'm sitting here now looking at the box score, Minnesota, Wisconsin at 33 points. That is going to go over. I mean, what the man? This sucks.
I'm in LA watching another Cincinnati game. Man, it's going to be hilarious for me to lose team total on this at 35 and Desiree through 2 red zone interceptions within the 5-yard line. You better hope he doesn't make it to the playoff because Ohio State and Georgia will came up real good stuff.
Not Ohio State. The state of Ohio has one team left in college football playoff contention. Cincinnati.
You've been talking about Clemson being poverty all year. You haven't been wrong. Well, what's worse than poverty? What's less than poverty? That'd be South Carolina. And old Quinny boy. Yeah, I remember you from last week talking all that walking out of that Williams-Brice Stadium bullshit. Go yourself. Y'all rolled over like a dead cockroach, which is fitting because your stadium looks like a dead cockroach with the legs sticking straight up. Go Tigers.
God. Yeah, I'm curious to see if we're going to hear from all those South Carolina fans. Highly doubtful.
Damn, every time I take a pick for college goal, Arkansas at the head. San Diego State, under, Boise, all that you put out there. Every time I take a pick from you, it's wrong. All you had today is lose.
Well, that under hit. So I think the only reason the under hit is for that because of that call.
Yeah, and technically I went -1 unit on the day with about 4 hedges against huge futures. So thank you. Thank you for watching.
My God, Colin. The North Carolina State under 63 is an all-timer. How the hell do you allow a guy to run straight down the sideline, untouched, running a cover 2, where the your dime defense, run quarters? You can give them the short stuff. You got 2:12 to play in a 9-point lead. Give them the short stuff. Who cares if they get a couple first downs? Run the clock out. Oh, my God. And then that onside kick. The guy just, ran straight at the ball. Didn't even put his hands up. Can somebody please tell Mac Brown to hire any sort of semblance of coaches, special teams, and defense, and otherwise at this program? What a freaking joke.
Well, of course, I need Memphis to cover 6 in a round robin. And what happened on their, 4th and 9? Their wide receiver gets held completely and no call from the refs. None at all. So then, of course, Tulane gets it and drives it all the way down the field and scores. And, of course, Memphis is now going to win by 5. Unbelievable.
Yep. Yet another game that doesn't cover by 1 point. They had Memphis -6. They had that game firmly in control, but of course there is a Tulane. I mean, I'm glad this season's over for Fritz. I mean, usually we're Tulane fans, but that last minute TD was brutal, absolutely brutal.
Tulane, what a joke! Still mad at them for missing that field goal.
You're a fucking idiot. I'm walking my dog, and he just took one of your sources, which is he just out one of your sources because they're all dog. 20 flu players out of this Michigan State game, and they still win. You idiot. Do me a favor, okay? Shave that mustache, get some wireless ear pods, and find us some winners next week.
I'll say it again. Boys, James Franklin is a bum. Wow, does this guy stink. Gets extended for 1 million years at Penn State. He'll never coach at a major program. He's not a good coach. He's really just an edgy Tom Allen. And how about those Spartans? How'd they win that game with all their starters out with the flu? I swear I saw Brett McMurphy tweet about a flu outbreak. So it has to be true, right? Man, does that guy just get outclassed every week by every single beat reporter at student newspapers. What a fraud that guy is. James Franklin, go green.
McMurphy's taking heat here.
Yeah, well.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome.
Boston College with dog effort. Talking about the team having the flu. I think I'm the one with the puke. Yeah, man, what dog effort.
SEC. You, Oklahoma. Let's go, Mike Gundy. He's a man, and he's 40.
TCU. Oh, my God. Iowa State, TCU, under 60.5.
Yeah.
It's 3-0 after the first quarter. It's 27-7 going into the fourth quarter. Who the teaches these lowlifes how to tackle? Who? Was it Gary Patterson? Was it Jerry Kill? I don't know. If it was Aslan from Narnia.
Stuck.
Yeah, I had Iowa State there. That was lovely. Brees Hall went bananas. And a friend of mine had the over. Under was a brutal beat by it. But a friend of mine had the over, and I told him about it. He said, dude, this isn't dead yet because, like, one of the reasons I bet Iowa State is I figured that they would care with all those seniors playing on senior day in the last game of the season. And I was like, they're probably going to keep Purdy in and just try and, let them go out in a bang. And they did. They were throwing up 27 with 4 to go, throwing touchdown passes. So, I feel for you there, brother.
Your resident UCLA fan calling you back. Hey, I looked at your tweets, and you said your worst call was Colorado State, and then instantly you follow it up with, let's play Cal in the second half. I don't know what the you were looking at, but UCLA completely dominated the first half. They were gashing up the middle. The only way Cal scored was on a muff kickoff, and then UCLA blows them out of the water. Hey, I know you've been drinking at the bar all day with your girl and today, but next time you needed some advice on a Pac-12 game, go ahead and give me a call, brother. BTR season in full effect. Out.
UCLA fans? There's UCLA fans? What the fuck?
They've been buried. They've been buried since the Sissy Blue shirt went over. I don't think we heard from them then either. They had a hard time getting fans into the stadium. So there they are.
I don't think there was anyone there. Wow. I didn't know there were any UCLA fans. They closed out the season with some big wins there with Colorado, Cal, and a zombie USC team.
I will say thank you, UCLA. I had over 7 wins. That was a push. That was a pretty big win last night for me from a season total perspective.
USC. I probably should have played USC +7. There was so much value in that line. I just didn't know if they would be a corpse. And USC, I think they they were down big and then went up, and then BYU won it late. I don't know.
I think you were looking for a physician on Twitter last night. I saw, is USC a corpse? Do we have a pulse here? Yeah, like you couldn't get anybody to tell you if there was a pulse in USC last night.
That's corpse week. Welcome to the morgue. Sometimes it's hard to figure out if some of these teams are dead or not. Stanford clearly is dead. By the way, I mean, you got to give credit. Notre Dame is killing teams, and FIU clearly a corpse. Holy moly! I mean, what did they get? Yeah.
Can I ask, what was the steam on Stanford preseason? Who are you people? Where are you? Why did Stanford go from 3.5 to 4 to 4.5 and juice keep going up? I don't know where you people get your information. I don't know what you're reading, but stop. Just stop. That Stanford numbers steaming north preseason, that was bad.
David Shaw is a dinosaur. Talk about another corpse. How about Indiana? Oof. Talk about an easy under. They finished under 8 wins. They finished 0-9 in conference. And oh my God. I mean, this box score is, they lost 44-7 to Purdue to close out the year. And yeah, that's pretty ugly. By the way, Nebraska, another brutal loss. They somehow finished 1-8 in the conference with a net scoring margin of 0. How is that possible? All right, moving on.
Are we taking their over next year? I mean, we have the second order win total is going to be like the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
we're gonna take
put them in the college football playoff. We'll get a good game against Georgia.
Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, the pride of the Commonwealth. Let's go! Let's go, boys! Bailey Zappi. Pew 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 pew. Let's go! Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, the pride of the Commonwealth. Let's ride! Bailey.
Can I say this right?
Zappy.
Hold on, I'm finish the Zappy.
Yeah, another Zappy.
Off to the USA Championship. Colin, you wanted to head. You a dumb for that. We on to the USA Championship. We're taking our from the Hilltopper Village in Bowling Green right down to San Antonio, and we're gonna kick some UTSA just like North Texas did. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. We should have beat them the first time. I think we're going to beat them again. And we were down 14-6 at the half, and we won 53-21. Outscored Marshall 47-7 in the second half. Zappy hour in full effect. Can't wait for that game next weekend.
I'm going to be 100% transparent with everybody. I have 2 $500 tickets on 14-1 Western Kentucky. That was the very first thing that I wanted in May. I put down just a regular bet underneath those bet sizes on Marshall because Marshall was the bigger fly in the ointment for Western Kentucky from a secondary standpoint, from a coverage standpoint, and stopping the explosive play. Marshall had all those numbers, and UTSA does not. As I sit here right now, with this payday coming down the trench, I think I can get my 15-year-old, soon to be 16-year-old, a car. I don't think I'm hedging a dime. I'm looking at it. It's bouncing between 1 on Western Kentucky, 1 on UTSA here on Sunday morning. I don't think I'm hedging a single dime against that UTSA secondary because it is bad. They're not going to know what to do with this Western Kentucky passing attack.
The pride of the Commonwealth, baby. And by the way, congrats to UK for destroying Louisville again. BBN.
Hey guys, Nash from Colorado here. Matt Mitchell, Uncle Mitch, can I please get the pride of the Commonwealth theme music one time, please? Bailey Zappi coming through all year long. Great call on that one. One more game, gentlemen. One more game. Of course, we got to let it ride out. And then second thing, cannot wait till this summer to watch the Ed O, Coach O, 30 for 30, getting the Bayou Bengals, pulling some good old-fashioned New Orleans voodoo to get this team to 500, but better yet, hitting the 6.5, hitting the money line. Great football weekend, gentlemen.
Colin, Stuckey, this is Doc from Lexington. Go Cats. Please stop fading Big Blue and looking at the line thinking, yeah, that's about right. And I know I should be calling and getting all hacked off about everyone can score on Wake or, hammer the Alabama Auburn Iron Bowl, first half over. But the reality is, this has been a great year, and you guys are really awesome. I went 6-1 on team total overs for the year. You guys made me money, and smarter, better. You know what you're talking about. I learned a lot from you guys this year, and I really appreciate what you do. So for all the complaining and gnashing of teeth, if you will, throughout the season, the reality is you guys are really good at what you do. The group of 5 guys are really awesome too. Thanks to them, they made the coffers a little heavier this year. And I just think you guys deserve a big pat on the back. You're good. And as we roll into December, that means it's Christmas time. So Merry Christmas to you and all the people you care about. And just keep doing what you're doing, and let's do it again next football season. Go Big Blue.
Yep, go Big Blue. And by the way, if you're in Lexington, send me a DM. Come have a drink on a Saturday, or many on me. So slide into those DMs. Appreciate it. We have a UCLA fan and then a nice caller. What the hell was going on? I didn't. But we do appreciate that. And this is now, well, after next weekend, conference championship usually treats me well, but now this is my time to shine. This is when bowls, baby. That's my season. And I mean, you love bowl season as well. But hope we have a lot. There's no patting on backs. There's no looking back. There's we have a lot of winners to still try to find, and a lot of college football to handicap.
I tweeted this out.
But I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate that call too, because I'll be honest with you, when I hear content from other spaces, I don't think those people actually watch the football games. You and I live, eat, and breathe every single piece of news, every single aspect of every single game. And, sometimes that wins and sometimes it doesn't. And I even tweeted it out last night. Somebody's like, Colin hit all the teams in the round robin this week. And I'm like, well, you're only as good as your last bet. And Colorado State's losing by 42. So, this is a what have you done for me lately kind of business. So it's nice to get a phone call like that, because I feel like Stuckey and I bring more value and more credibility to the gambling space, because other people treat it as a joke. Like Stuckey and I actually have real money being pushed across the counter. And I believe, that shows in the way that we handicap games and try to give out as much information as possible. So I appreciate it. And hopefully, and next week's going to be interesting. So the next week recap podcast is going to be later in the day. It's going to be after all the bowls are announced, and it's going to take a different format. It's going to be Stuckey and I. The bowls are going to be announced. We'll have Brett on. Brett's going to talk about how they got put into there, some of the head coaching situations that are going on. And then Stuckey and I are going to get our very first look of the board lit up with brand new numbers and what we're going to be hitting on the fly, and where the motivation aspect, because the biggest part of bowl season is the motivation aspect. And that's one of the hardest things to find. So hopefully we are able to provide winners through conference championship and through the bowls and have a good season. And then you'll see me firing on win totals probably in late January, getting the cycle started all over again.
Hopefully I won another bowl season like last year. I think I went 24-7, and hopefully we can repeat that. By the way, it looks like Toledo and Middle Tennessee, first bowl announced, will play in the Bahamas Bowl per Brett McMurphy, just tweeted out. And East Carolina will be headed to the Military Bowl. I don't know who they're playing. 79 of 82 spots still be determined. Toledo and Middle Tennessee. What a game. All right.
And we already know the wind's going to be 30 miles per hour. We already know Toledo.
Under steam.
Didn't Eli Peters hit like an 80-yard bomb there for a total and a cover, I think, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Great.
All right. We don't have much to get to because there's no weekday football. Well, that's a lie. There is football on Friday, I believe, right? Let's see.
I think we should review like what futures we have, because there's a lot going on for me. I think the app, like I would be firing in the app right now if I didn't already have futures intact. So I don't know what your conference future landscape is, but we can talk about a few of the games if you want.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the only futures that I have pending, I think I had 6 on the year, and I'm sorry, I had 8 on the year, and unfortunately, Wisconsin division died. The only ones that I have left are I think I just have Western Kentucky 9-1, and I have Kent State 14-1. I might just hedge with Northern Illinois just to get my money back. I don't know yet. I just can't have them fucking take more money from me again this year and not get something out of this Kent State 14-1. Although last year, I don't think I hedged at all when we had I had Ball State 14-1. Man, if the MAC manifesto hits 2 14-1s in a row, there's gonna be pressure on next year. I don't know. I think I like both Kent State and Western Kentucky and their matchups on pay. I got to dig a little bit. We'll talk about it later in the week. I think the one game that I wanted that I will hit already. And by the way, I was saying, look, we might have to play Alabama if they lose to Auburn here. I was thinking we would get maybe inflation over a touchdown, but yeah, I can't play them under a touchdown. I bet that line's going to keep going. Is App State? We're probably going to be on App State, right?
Yeah, so that's where I come in. So I have a 4-1 on App State. That was our big Sun Belt podcast, and I said, I don't understand why App State is being priced way outside Coastal when they're hosting Coastal and they have the ingredients to stop Coastal, and I don't know why they're being priced so highly above Louisiana when we all know that this is a 3-man race. So took App State. Here we are, and I have 4-1 on them, and I don't think I'm going to hedge a bit. The to-do for me this week is to find out why Louisiana no-showed against ULM. Are they overlooking? Is the coach that will not be named already made his plans to head on down to Gainesville? ULM gave them a heck of a game, and it wasn't a fluke box score either. So if Louisiana is checked out, then there's no way I'm hedging my App State bet. And it's a game that I make. It's a game that I make App State -4.5. So we're sitting here looking at this right now. It's App State -2.5, and there's been some Louisiana money coming on it this Sunday morning. So listen, if I was betting, I'd be on App State. I've already got a future, and I don't think I'm going to hedge.
All right. Anything else? Any other futures that you don't know? Western Kentucky?
Yeah, Western Kentucky 14-1. Right now, the number is bouncing between. This is Sunday morning. Western Kentucky -1, UTSA -1. It's kind of bouncing around at multiple shops. I'm not hedging, but it looks like there's a window there if you do want to get out of it. Oregon, Utah, I don't have any money in this game, but it is a game I project at -1 for Utah. So this is going to be an inflated line. You just have to realize that Utah blew Oregon out of the water. There's going to be adjustments made by Cristobal and by Moorhead. And unless Cristobal is named like coach somewhere else, I don't understand why you wouldn't take Oregon at what's going to be a discounted price. I think this thing is going to go past 3. And then at 3.5 and 4, you're going to have to start considering Oregon, especially since it's on a neutral site. You and I, we both have Kent State futures. So we'll figure out what we're going to do with the luckiest team, the horseshoe.
Fast.
Yeah, against Northern Illinois. Cincinnati, I have a very large position on them to win the AAC that I paid a fat -160 on open out in Vegas. And I'm going to have to make a determination about if I want to get out of that. I don't think I do at all. I think I'm just going to let that one ride. I think the big one that everybody needs to realize is that we said on the podcast, we're taking Georgia SEC futures. I believe you and I were kind of having a thing about, should we be taking Georgia National Championship or Georgia SEC futures? I took Georgia +275 to win the SEC. There's absolutely no way I'm hedging a single penny on that. By the way, that number has steamed all the way up to 6.5, open 4, up to 6.5. I power rated 7, and I think it's eventually going to get on 7. So if you can catch any rogue 5.5s or 6s out there, you probably want to get that. And then, Utah.
I personally went with
what'd you take?
Georgia plus. Well, I had some 8-1 to win the national title. A very small position. I didn't even put it in the app because I got it. I only could get a little bit down on it from a rogue site. I know some people were able to get real positions on 8-1 earlier on than me. But I did the one bet that I put in the app that I was able to get is I got plus 175 to make the college football playoff. That's one of my other pending futures that's still alive. That's good. I mean, if Georgia loses, they're in, right?
Yeah, if Georgia loses. And so I think that's why we need to talk about the Georgia minus 220 that's out there to win the national title. So in their very first game in the semifinal, no matter who they face, they're going to be a minimum of a 7-point favorite because I have them favored at least by 7 points over Alabama and Ohio State. And those are number 2s and 3s in the power ratings right now. So that minus 220, I mean, that's about what it's going to be to parlay.
There's a chance they could be 17-point favorites in that game, depending on who they play.
Yeah. And so I hate to say this, but minus 220 is actually worth a little bit of look. Now it's running out of value territory, but that semifinal game is going to be a huge spread. And then you're going to take a minus 220 into a national championship game where they're going to be at least 6.5-point favorites. So, there's still some money to be made on Georgia. It's kind of, lost all of its juice, but still a little bit of room there.
All right. I think that the nightmare scenario is like Bama loses in overtime. And then who are they gonna? Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bama loses in overtime. Do they take them over Cincinnati? Like or do they take them? I think Oklahoma State now beating Oklahoma, then they're going to beat Baylor again. I think they would leapfrog Cincy, but I'm not sure. Should be interesting. But if Bama wins, they're in with Georgia. Where do you think that? If Bama beats Georgia, who gets seeded 1?
First off, I don't think there's any way in the world Bama's offensive line is surviving. But
we're living in a hypothetical world here.
Let's play hypothetical worlds. Is Michigan your number 1 seed?
Wow. Well, I would think the committee would find a way to make sure Alabama and Georgia don't play again away.
2-4.
But who would be 2? Georgia would drop the 2. Bama's in as the 4.
Yeah.
And then Michigan is the 1. Oak State is the 3.
Yeah.
And then you would get Michigan, Alabama. Oh God.
All right. Listen, I'm telling you people, if you think it's a good time to buy Alabama, it's not. These 3 teams that are going to be in the college football playoff have defensive lines that are going to eat Darian Dalcourt, Chris Owens, and Damian George for breakfast. This Alabama offensive line is in trouble.
Throw it to Roger McCreary one more time. All right.
Wait, what were you doing?
All right, that'll do it for us. We have lots of work to do. We'll be back later in the week. We will preview every conference championship game in depth. We will have our best bets. We will have our final positions for any potential hedges, et cetera, et cetera. We'll break all the games down later in the week. That podcast will be out late Thursday night. So it's time for us to go get to work. Make sure you follow along in the Action Network app. And should I do giveaways? Let's see if any of you guys actually went. And the person that left that nice message, send me a DM. Not only if you want to get up for a drink, but I'll send you some gear. All right, how about Chubby536? Colin and Stuckey do a fantastic job of providing entertaining content and valuable betting advice. Colin comes in with his sophisticated data analysis while Stuckey balances data with his feel for the spot. We'll make you laugh. We'll make you cry. Voicemails are good and something I look forward to every week. I recommend the show to 3 to 4 friends and enemies. 3 friends and 4 enemies. Thank you. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Fired. Do any of your bets ever hit? No, and you're not getting anything. How about Sparky8586, a new listener? And BBN Viva, of course. You're getting gear too. Send me a DM. Miami fan 611. He says give great analysis and just don't listen to Colin when recommended overs on San Diego State. We finally got him to come around under. We'll see if he goes over on San Diego State, Utah State.
The number's 50. That number's fat. I don't know if I could go over 50 with Utah State and San Diego State.
And then Miami Beach Matt. We didn't hear from UTEP, Minor Nation again. They were in position to cover and then got blown out in the second half.
Yep.
I hope your beach party's going well. But Miami Beach Matt, love how Stuckey and Colin actually bet the games they analyze, unlike a lot of folks out there. Preach. And Tyler Gates 50. Man, I'm giving a lot of shit away, but we love you guys. Tyler Gates 50. I've been rocking with Stuck and Colin for 3 years now. I value their shit, blah, blah, blah. Love it. Rice football is bad. Every podcast is a must listen from the Friday preview to the group of 5. Love it. BBOC is the GOAT. 614 Alex. Matty P 2020. Stuck in the team, doing an incredible job. Send me all, DM me or reach out to our producer. We're sending you all gear. Mitchell, if you don't have it in your budget, charge it to me. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Time for us to go get to work. Find some winners for next weekend. Should be a good one. And can't wait for bowl season. Can't wait. But thanks for listening. As always, tell a friend, tell an enemy. Subscribe, unsubscribe, leave a review because I'll end up giving you gear. And we appreciate you listening. Thanks as always, Colin, for joining me. 959 Bad Beat whenever you need it, even during the week. If you need to just vent about anything, call. We're here for you. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch y'all later in the week. Cheers.
Peace out.